What's up, everybody? This is Kevin here from Happy Beard Games, your source for classic gaming goodness. And today I have a answers video. This is an answering video to questions from a questions video, so it's like a Q&A. Basically, there's a guy on YouTube named NeoTurboManiac. He does a lot of cool gameplay videos, game pickup videos, videos about video games. So check him out. If you like my channel, you'll probably like his a lot too. So he does classic games as well, sort of like me, but completely different. So he's NeoTurboManiac. I'll leave the link to his channel in the description of this video, and then you can look him up on YouTube and find him through the link. Now, he had a video recently that he had 5 questions, and he wanted people on YouTube to answer those questions, preferably in a video format. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just going to answer those questions in video format. So let's get started with NeoTurboManiac's questions. Now, these are not specifically for me. These can be answered by anyone, I think. And so if you want to answer them yourself, if you didn't see the video, go watch this video, and then you can answer them yourself on your own video, and then let them know, because that's basically what I'm doing. Yeah, let's start. Now, the first question today from NeoTurboManiac is, name a game that you enjoy that has a year in its title. Now, on his video, he mentioned a couple things that I had already thought of right before he said them, such as Bomberman 93 and Bomberman 94. I also thought of the King of Fighters games, which have a lot of numbers, year numbers in their titles sometimes. And then I also thought of like sports games like Madden. Some of the Maddens. I don't think they really give them the year anymore, but they used to. So I had a hard time with this one because I don't have Bomberman, and I don't have those Bombermans, and I don't have any King of Fighters games currently. I know, but I don't have any Madden games either. So I was like, all the games I'm thinking of, I don't know. So this one's a little hard for me to answer, but I did come up with a few ideas out of my game library and games that I've played, because I haven't really played those games either. Not that I just don't have them, I just haven't played them. So I was thinking the first one that came to mind was Friday the 13th, but this doesn't really count because it isn't a year. This is just a date, even though I think it did take place sometime in the 80s, I guess, if you look at the movie. So Friday the 13th, that doesn't count, I guess. That's a fun one. Actually, no, it's not. I played it on my channel. It was alright. So what I narrowed it down to was NASCAR games. Now, I have a few NASCAR games. I don't really play them that much anymore. I've played them in the past. They're mostly my dad's games, so I don't really play them very much. And he doesn't really play them very much anymore, so I don't play them with him anymore. But I still have a few NASCAR games. So my choice for a favorite game with a year in the title is probably NASCAR 2011, the game for Nintendo Wii. I don't know if this is multi-platform. I don't know much about it. I only played it like once or twice. I know it supports the Wii wheel and motion controls on the Wii. So I'll be holding either the Wiimote sideways like a steering wheel or use the Wii wheel accessory. I'm just looking at the back. I don't know very much about this, and I haven't played it since probably 2011 because it does have that year in the title. I don't know. Well, you can use the GameCube controller as well, which is pretty cool, and you can use the classic controller as well. It has multiplayer split screen, which is cool. No online on this one, but it's by Activision. That's career mode. Pretty standard NASCAR game, but I'm assuming it would be improved over NASCAR 2009, or 09, NASCAR 2007, and NASCAR 2002. Yeah, there's a lot of NASCAR games, and I don't know when they started putting the year on them, but this one says NASCAR Heat 2002. And this was the first one that I got that I remember having that. Because the one I played before this, a NASCAR game that I played before this, was NASCAR Rumble on the PS1. That's a really fun game, actually. But it didn't have a year in the title, so I didn't throw that in. But I guess my choice is NASCAR 2011, the game for Wii. I don't know, I'm assuming they improved it over the years, but maybe not, maybe not. Alright guys, we're moving on to question number 2. Now this is a fun one to answer for me, because the question is, name a game that you like, but you never had the chance to play. That's kind of interesting, because if you think about it, back in the day, a lot of the games that kids knew about were either from word of mouth from other people that we knew about, or that we knew in person. because we didn't have the internet, or at least we didn't when I was a kid. So we had things like Nintendo Power, where we'd get sources for games. We'd have things like TV commercials, and pretty much things that other people would tell us, or things that we'd see in the store. So back in the day, it would be like you wouldn't know about every game unless they were really popular, and then there'd be some obscure games that would come out of nowhere. But now it's like the internet. You have access to knowledge of every video game ever. So you can just look up any game you want and just search it on Google. You can search it anywhere, and you can find information and gameplay videos of people actually playing those games. So it's really easy to find out about a lot of games that are obscure, even older games or newer games that are obscure. So name a game that I like but I've never played. This one, I'm fudging it a little tiny bit because I played it for about 5 minutes or less, and that game is Uncharted, and mostly the Uncharted series is what I'm going to talk about because, well, except for Uncharted 4, but Uncharted is a game series that I do like. I like the characters, I like the storyline, I like the gameplay. It looks like fun. It looks like you're playing a fun movie, or like you're playing through like a good Indiana Jones-esque adventure. And they did a really good job with the graphics, did a good job with the presentation, the voice acting, the characters, the scenes in the game. The action looks fun. It looks a little challenging on some difficulty levels, but it looks like a game that I like. And I've seen a full live stream of the first Uncharted. I've seen a full live stream of the second and third Uncharted, and I don't think I saw the very end of Uncharted 3, but I've seen the whole series up until pretty much near the end of Uncharted 3. So I know a lot about the series in terms of just watching it, but I've never actually played Uncharted. Now, I did play the first one briefly. I don't know if it was a demo or what, but I remember playing, climbing up a rock wall at the very intro of Uncharted 1, and I don't think I did much after that. I think I climbed up a wall and jumped off of it, and that was all I did. And I just faded out of my memory until the Uncharted Trilogy collection came up, and my friend was doing live streams of it. So I really like it. I like the characters. I like Sully's an interesting character. Nathan Drake's the hero, and there's other characters that interact with. It kind of feels like an Indiana Jones movie. I'm sure everybody who's watching this video knows what Uncharted is, but to me, it just feels like watching a movie. And that's pretty cool because I don't know, it's one of those games that's actually really interesting to watch as much as it is to play, so you get a good experience of it from a live stream. Yeah, it's just a fun game. It's a fun game. Uncharted series and Uncharted is my game for question number 2. Yep. Alright guys, we got question number 3, and this question is, name a game that's been remaked or remastered that you enjoy that stands out from its original counterpart. Now, this one, I had a few tough choices. The thing is, a lot of the classic games are either remakes or ports of arcade games, but they're not changed too much. In some ways, they're actually lessened, like Ghosts and Goblins. It has less graphics than the arcade version on the NES. So I was thinking more current games. So I guess not that current, but my answer for that is Metroid Prime Trilogy for Nintendo Wii. It's really nice case, actually. This is the collector's edition. I don't know if there's any other editions of it, but Metroid Prime Trilogy is really good. And since it's a trilogy, and that's kind of 3 games, well, it is 3 games, but I'm just going to say Metroid Prime 1, because this is interesting, because he did mention, NeoTurboManiac mentioned that there is... it's not just about the graphics. It's not just a graphics change or something like that. Like, it's not the graphics that just got better. It's the gameplay. So this is basically the gameplay. The graphics, I've heard they changed a little bit, and I know the interface changed a little bit too to accommodate the new graphics, or to accommodate the new controls, excuse me. But this is basically, what it is it's the same as the GameCube Metroid Prime, but they added in a few things, mostly motion controls, and they work very well. If you ever played a Wii first-person shooter, sometimes they don't really work that well, but the pointer controls do, so when it's implemented well, and by a good developer like Retro Studios, and a good game that already existed like Metroid Prime, it works very well. And I do like the GameCube controls on Metroid Prime, and I kind of wish they had that as an option on this, but I do like the Wii remote controls better, and it is easier to use, in my opinion. It's really, you can do things like lock on and then aim at the same time with the pointer controls, and it feels really free and really fast. You don't have to worry about sensitivity as much, and it kind of makes it more fun because it feels like you're more into the game when you're using the motion controls, because it's mostly for shooting. They don't really use the motion controls for anything other than shooting, unless you're playing Metroid Prime 3. They use it for unlocking doors at some points, and I think you can use it to jump when you're in the morph ball. But yeah, Metroid Prime, part of Metroid Prime Trilogy. This is the only way to play it with the Wii motion controls. Now it also includes Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3, which was Metroid Prime 3 is pretty much untouched on this. But a couple other things they added into it was achievements, and I think, even though it's on Wii and not on GameCube, I think the graphics are a little bit changed, but I can't really be sure. It's mostly an interface thing. They might have changed some things on Metroid Prime 1, but yeah, this is really, really good. This is up there with one of my favorite games. I love Metroid Prime, I love the Metroid series, but Metroid Prime is really a really good one. Actually, my favorite out of all these is probably Metroid Prime 3, but it's really close to Metroid Prime 1, so I don't know. Metroid Prime 2 feels too similar to 1, and I don't like the Dark World as much, but I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's not my favorite out of the 3. So yeah, Metroid Prime. It's my favorite game that's been remade or remastered, that has been changed up a lot. Now, a couple other games that I want to point out that are really cool that I almost chose were Darksiders 2 for Wii U. They didn't change the graphics. It might actually have worse graphics than the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 versions, but they added the gamepad screen, and they added a lot of cool functions for that, and motion controls using the gamepad. Another one is Batman Arkham City, which I know I have it on PC and Wii U. I'm talking about the Wii U version because it has gamepad support and motion control support. You kind of use it like a camera at some points, and it's a fun game. I mean, the PC version I can run at full graphics, and it looks really nice. It doesn't look as nice on the Wii U, but it still makes it funner with the remade gameplay. So that's my answer for that question. Metroid Prime on the Metroid Prime Trilogy for Wii. Alright guys, we're on to question number 4. And this question is, name 3 games that you like, but admittedly are not good at. Okay, I got a lot of games here, but I narrowed it down to 3 for now. Now these games are games that, well, I like them a lot. I really do. I like the series. I like the characters. I like the environment from pretty much all these. These are games that I talk about a lot. These are games in series that I talk about a lot. And some of these, they come up in a way every week of my life, it seems like. But especially this first one. And that is Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. This is the first Sonic for the Genesis. And this is basically the one that I think of. This and number 2 are ones that I think of a lot when I think of Sonic the Hedgehog. And the thing is, when I was a kid, I didn't have a Sega Genesis, so maybe that attributes to some of this why I'm not good at this game. But at the same time, I did have a PC, so I had Sonic. I still have it over there, but it's Sonic. It's a collection. It comes with Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. And I also had Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic CD. So I played those ones a lot, and they're very similar to this. But out of all the Sonic games, the early Sonic games, 1 through 3, Knuckles, Sonic CD, even Sonic 3D Blast, which was also on the Genesis, I'm not very good at these. I don't think I've beaten any of them. I think I beat number 3. I know I didn't beat Knuckles. I think I beat number 2 barely. Later on the Nintendo Wii. But Sonic 1, I am not very good at these games. I don't know what it is. There's certain enemies that I'll just get hit by every time. Or there's also certain enemies and certain spots in the games that I'll just fall into that trap when I'm not paying full attention. And I'll lose all my rings. If you know what Sonic is, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But there's certain parts that you get hit. And it's like, I know I can do this, but then randomly it'll just happen to you and you lose and makes you want to restart. But at the same time, yes, I've never beaten this game. I'm not very good at it, admittedly. I'm not horrible at it. It's sort of a challenging game. I think it's tougher than Super Mario Bros. 1. I really think it is, because I've beaten that multiple times. And I don't know, it's really fun. and I do like the characters. I like Sonic. I like all the characters from Sonic. I like the way the levels look. I like the layout of the levels. I like the music. I like that it's colorful, and I like that it's a platforming game. So I really like this game, but I'm just not very good at it. And you'll see that through these other games too. Now this one's a little weird because this is a tough game, and the next game is pretty tough too. Don't get me wrong. This game is Ghosts and Goblins for the NES, also on the arcade and other collections. This is Ghosts and Goblins 1, and this game, if you've seen my video that I did last October on this, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I've made it to a certain point on this game, and that's the farthest I've ever made. I've never beaten this game. I know you have to beat it once, and then it's like a dream. You go back, you have to beat the whole game again. That's the real ending. So I know a lot about this game. I know the layout of the stages. I can picture them in my mind. I like Ghosts and Goblins. I like the theme. I like the sort of horror theme, sort of like a Castlevania but more cartoony. It's a fun Capcom game on the NES. It's actually pretty good. I have some other Capcom games that aren't so good, like Street Fighter 2010 and stuff, but this is a fun game. It's really challenging, and so it kind of makes it hard because it's challenging. I think it's a hard game, so everybody thinks it's a hard game, I think. But I'm still not very good at it. There's certain points where I'll make it to like level 2, and then I won't be able to make it past that for the whole day. And there's certain times I can make it all the way to like the caves near the end of the well, I don't know if they're near the end, but they're kind of near the end of the map, because it shows you a map when you die, and I'll die a lot. So Ghosts and Goblins, I'm not very good at it, but I do like it. It's actually one of my favorite games that I have on the NES. I'd probably put it within my top 10, or at least top 10 games that I play the most out of my collection. So yeah, it's a fun game, but I like it. I'm just not very good at it, but I think a lot of people aren't very good at Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah. The next game is a game for the Wii U, and this is funny because Donkey Kong, I love Donkey Kong Country. I love Donkey Kong. I love the arcade Donkey Kong. More specifically, I love Donkey Kong Country. Now, this is the second of, well, yeah, sort of. It's sort of the second of the new what are they called? Reboots of Donkey Kong Country. So on the Wii, there was Donkey Kong Country Returns, and then they made the 3DS version of Donkey Kong Country Returns. But this is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I think this game is very, very good. I put this as my favorite Wii U game around the time this came out. This was before Mario Kart and stuff, but this is my favorite Wii U game. This is up there still with one of my favorite Wii U games. I think this game is a classic, a real gem. The soundtrack is brilliant. I have it on my computer, and I just think it's amazing. I don't know. It's really good. The level designs are good. The graphics look great. The characters are great. It has all that gameplay elements that you'd love from the Super Nintendo games of Donkey Kong Country. They added some new things, like now you can play as Cranky Kong and you play as like Scrooge McDuck, which is very appropriate and I think is a lot of fun. It has multiplayer at the same time. It has so much good things going for it, but at the same time, I'm not very good at it, and although I have 99 lives on this game because I've played it a lot and I've got all those balloons, I got all the 99 lives and stuff. I'm only at the water stage, which I think is the 3rd or 4th world, and I'm stuck at the water boss. I can't do the underwater levels. I have a hard time with this game, guys, and I'm not even kidding. It's mostly the underwater levels, so I really got to practice. I really got to go back to this and focus on it. Because I've gone back to the first one on Super Nintendo like 10 times since I bought this game, and I can do that. But even on the first one for Super Nintendo, I found that I had some hard times with the underwater stages. So there's some similarity going on there, which is, I guess, it's a good thing. But this is hard, and I haven't been able to beat, I think it's like a giant pufferfish boss with spikes, and he inflates, and it's hard. I'm not even gonna lie, this game is hard. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm not playing on co-op, but it's a tough game. So, I'm not very good at it. So these are my games for that. These are my answers for that question. Alright guys, we're on to question number 5, the final question, and that is, name 3 games that you like and enjoy that are not a part of any series or franchise, or not a prequel, not a sequel to these games. And to the best of my knowledge, these games do not have a prequel or a sequel or are part of any series. And these are actually really hard for me to find. To narrow it down to a video game series, to a game that's not part of a video game series, I mean, is kind of hard. And I don't want to choose a game that's like a movie game, because those are technically part of a series in most cases. It's pretty much part of a series if there's more than one of it. So it's actually kind of hard to find games like this. Like, I was looking through my games and I was like, a lot of these are like a Mario, a Sonic, a Star Wars, something based off of a movie series, something based off of a video game series, or even remakes. So I narrowed it down to 3 that I like. And the first one is probably the best one. I'm going to say that right now in terms of overall what the game is. And that is Rare's Jet Force Gemini for the Nintendo 64. To the best of my knowledge, there is no sequels or spin-offs or anything of this game. There is a remake of it on Rare Replay, but it's pretty much the exact same. Now, Jet Force Gemini is really, really fun. It's sort of a gem on the N64. I don't hear too many people talk about it too often, but it's just a really fun game. Now, it takes place in a sci-fi setting. You have three or four heroes. You have a boy, a girl, a dog, and a little robot. And they go on, they're sort of this team called Jet Force Gemini. And they go on this adventure to save these tribal people, these tribes of these little Ewok-looking people from these evil ant people. And it's a really fun game. It's a third-person shooter. It has different elements depending on which character you are. And it's a fun game. It's really fun. It has pretty good graphics for the N64 too. It has a good soundtrack. It's a Rare game. That's good. Very memorable. I actually picked this up last year because I played it as a kid and never had it, so I got it. And it's a fun game. It holds up pretty well, but the controls are a little hard to get used to with the aiming. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game at its core. So that's a game I like. Here's another game that I like. Now this one, not everybody likes this. I didn't think I was going to like it when I got it. I just kind of got it for fun. And that game is Lester the Unlikely for the Super Nintendo. Yes, I did not think I was going to like this game, but I do. So I've been playing this a little bit off and on. I lost it for a little while and I found it again last week, so I've been playing it some more. Lester the Unlikely is a fun game for me because, you play as a little nerdy boy and he goes on a little adventure on this island. There's some Amazon and some animals, and there's a big jungle on this island, and you try to escape monsters. There's even like demons, tiki monsters, Amazon warriors that try to kidnap you and throw spears at you. There's some weird stuff in this game, but it's a lot of fun. You might like it if you like Pitfall. You might like it if you like Donkey Kong Country a little bit, but it's a little more slower paced than Donkey Kong Country. It's a kind of a fun Super Nintendo game. It's a platforming game. I don't know. I did not expect to like this. It's not the best, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I really don't. It's kind of fun. There's some worse games on Super Nintendo. So the last game is another game that I played when I was a kid for the Nintendo 64, and that game is, I know it's not the best. I think it's on some other systems too, but it's not part of a series as far as I know. And that is Glover for the Nintendo 64. Yes, Glover. You play as a wizard's glove who has come to life in order to save the kingdom that got, I don't know. There's two gloves. One's evil, one's good, and you play as the good one. And a wizard, and he has this like castle, which acts as the hub world, and you go to different levels that are other worlds. Like there's a carnival world, there's like a beach world, and stuff like that. It's a 3D platforming game, sort of like a Banjo-Kazooie. But the unique element to this game is you're a glove. You can walk around freely, but you have this ball, a magic ball. And you can change it to a crystal, a bowling ball, a bouncy ball, which is what you have most of the time, and like a metal ball. And you have to have that ball with you at all times. So you use that mechanic to play the game. So it's almost like you have two people, but you have to like control it with just the glove. And it feels like you're the glove character. And it feels like you're holding onto the ball the whole time, which can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. It makes the platforming unique, which is a good thing. So, Glover, it's a fun game for the N64. It's not the best. Kind of like Lester, it's not the best. But it's a fun game, and it fits in this category for the question. So yeah, that's about it. That's all 5 questions from NeoTurboManiac. I want to thank NeoTurboManiac for presenting those questions because I thought they were fun to answer. And I hope that viewers of this video will not only think the answers were fun or interesting to hear at least, but that they'll go and check out NeoTurboManiac's channel and see what he has to offer because he got some cool video content. I know I watched a couple of his videos recently. One of them was a cool pickups video / sort of a game trade convention video. That was pretty cool. I really liked watching that. There's some cool stuff to see about that I don't know if it's convention or just a game swap. I don't know what to call it actually. I think it's more like a game swap. But yeah, really cool stuff. So go check out NeoTurboManiac's channel once again. And that was my questions and answers from him. So, yeah, thanks for watching Hybrid Games. Until next time, stay tuned for more classic gaming goodness. Hybrid Games, out.